Jambak. Ucu jambak. Ucu jambak.
What up?
Ucu jambak.
Welcome to Word Talk with Walters, where words are our most inexhaustible source of magic. I'm Mr. Walters, and I'm excited you'll be joining me today on a vocabulary adventure. This week, we're getting our words from the book Sonia Sotomayor, which Mrs. Thompson read last week. Did you read it with her? I sure hope so. Let's read. You never know what can happen. Sometimes the most beautiful moonflower blossoms in an unexpected place, on a chain-link fence, near broken glass, next to an abandoned building watered by someone whose name you might not even know. Our first word is abandon, and abandon means leave and not return. An abandoned building is empty because people have moved out and never returned. Imagine that you're at a park and you have come across an abandoned bicycle, a bicycle that someone left behind and did not return for. Why might someone have abandoned the bicycle? Let's read. When Sonia's mother wasn't cooking or working, she was studying. She wanted to become a nurse so she could make better wages and help her children even more. While Sonia slept, sometimes her mother stayed up until midnight doing her homework. There was nothing she would not do to help Sonia or her brother. The next word you're going to learn today is industrious. Industrious means hardworking, and industrious and hardworking are synonyms. Sonia's mother was industrious. She worked hard during the day to support her children and studied hard at night to become a nurse. Sonia grew up to be industrious or hardworking like her mother. Who is an industrious person you know? Why do you think that person is industrious? In this part of the book, we find that Sonia's hard work paid off because she became a judge. Let's read. Success comes to those who make the most of the chances they are offered in life. Sonia did become a judge, and a good judge too. She was known for working very hard and always being very prepared for every trial. Sonia worked hard to become a judge, and she was successful. Successful is the last word we're learning today. If you are successful, you do what you set out to do or do something well. Sonia was successful because she did well in school and worked hard as a judge. I want you to notice full in successful. Full is a suffix that means full of. Sonia's life has become full of success. She has become a good judge. When have you been successful? When have you done something you set out to do or done something well? Now, before we bring out our guest, let's review. We're listening for our guest to use all three vocabulary words, and if she does it, she'll win a very special prize. When our guest uses one of today's vocabulary words, you'll hear this sound. Now, please welcome, all the way from first grade, Mrs. Banks. Hi, Mrs. Banks. Welcome to Word Talk. It's great to have you today. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's so good to see you, Mr. Walters. It's been crazy how much I long for all my coworkers and spending time with them.
I know, it is so good to see you. Now,
Good to see you too.
how are things going in first grade? How are your students doing in Google Classroom?
You know what? I have to say I am incredibly overwhelmed and impressed by how diligent our first graders have been. They have been really throwing themselves into their learning. They get on every day. They get their math going on. They really, persist when they come up with some tricky things. When I'm talking to them, I never have to use that rough teacher voice, hey, make sure you're doing your writing, because they're doing it on their own. It's just been really, I guess the best word is exhilarating, seeing them being so successful and awesome with their learning, and so self-confident, and when they're turning things in and really understanding what's going on. It's been a really memorable time.
That is fantastic. Mrs. Banks, we all know that you're an amazing first grade teacher, and many of us know that you also have kids of your own at home. So now that you're working from home, what's that been like?
Well, I would love to say that it's all roses and beautifulness, but it can be a little bit overwhelming, Mr. Walters. We have to be really diligent as teachers, because just like you guys getting onto Google Classroom, I start my day off really early with a large glass of coffee, thank goodness. And I sit down and I am looking at all of the work that my students have done, the things that they have really been sticking with. They've persisted and really trying hard to get work done. They've been really industrious and trying to make sure that they're understanding the concepts they're learning. But I'll tell you, as a mom, it's kind of crazy trying to do all this teaching stuff and the filming, and then making sure my kids are getting their work done too.
Well, when you're not working and chasing your own children around, what's keeping you busy? Can you tell us about something else you like to do?
Yes. Well, you all know about my love for Harry Potter. It's something I will never abandon. It is like a piece of my heart. I read Harry Potter. I watch Harry Potter. I even have Harry Potter Legos that I have been industriously working on and building. I'll have to take a picture soon and send it to you, because it's the night bus. It's pretty intense. I feel like I've really accomplished something successful because it was a really hard build. But I have found a new love, Mr. Walters, and that new love is something I only wait till after I've done all my work for the day. It's called Animal Crossing, and it's on the Switch. And it is my new, I have just thrown myself into Animal Crossing and perfecting my island and selling and buying turnips to make millions of dollars.
Well, that's neat. I'm going to stop you right there, Mrs. Banks. You used all three of our words, so that means you won! Miss Mishke, tell her what she won!
Webster's defines it as a narrative of adventures, and you'll have plenty of tall tales to tell after playing with your very own yarn. Cats crave it, dogs dig it, and pandas absolutely love yarn!
Are you kidding me? This is something I have always wanted. I'm so excited. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it. Can I leave it at home? I think this is something that has to come to school and come to the classroom when we come back in the fall and we're all together.
Well, that's our show for today. Thanks to Mrs. Banks for joining us. You have been a wonderful guest. From all of us here at Word Talk with Walters, I'm Mr. Walters. Goodbye and have a word-alicious week.
Word Talk with Walters, where vocab dreams come true. I got another word for you. Word Talk with Walters, where vocab dreams come true. I got another word for you. Word Talk with Walters, where vocab dreams come true. I got another word for you. Word Talk with Walters, where vocab dreams come true. I got another word for you.